Shalom and welcome to our first ever Torah in a Box presentation. On behalf of our entire Kollel, we are delighted to share this exciting new venture with you, especially during this time when we're finding new ways to connect and share Torah with each other. Our first program today is actually perfectly aligned with what we're thinking about at this time, when so many of us are hunkered down at home or isolated from others. The theme today is building an Eruv, creating an Eruv, which means literally getting together and mixing. That is the theme. On Shabbos, we are focused inwardly. Al yetze ish mimakomo, the pasuk says. Generally, we do not leave our homes on Shabbos, and yet Chazal, the rabbis, introduced the ability to include and connect with others. This institution that we call, according to halacha, Eruv Chatzeros, merging, joining of the courtyards, is the focus of our project today, and hopefully it's something that you will be able to learn and share with others. Generally speaking, it is prohibited to carry from one domain to another domain. According to the Torah, it's prohibited to carry from a private domain, Rishus HaYachid, to a public domain, Rishus HaRabim. But according to Shlomo HaMelech, it's prohibited even to carry from a private domain to another person's private domain, or from a private domain into a semi-public area we call a Carmelis, which is not a huge, major public thoroughfare, but a common residential street. So each one of us is staying at home. And yet, Shlomo HaMelech said, we can bridge these divides, we can bring people together. How do we bring people together? What do we do? The answer is an Eruv. What is an Eruv? It's food. And let me explain. Shlomo HaMelech said, what is it that brings people together? It's food, and if we have a shared meal, that creates a bond between us. So if we take, for example, as most communities do, a box of matzah, and we share it among the people living in the community, now we have an Eruv. However, it's not so simple. Yes, we have the food that requires the Eruv, but how do we get around the issue of carrying out from one property to another property? Well, the second component of an Eruv, in addition to the food, is enclosing everyone together, so to speak, in one house or in one courtyard. We can do that in multiple ways. The first simplest way is to build mechitzos, walls. So if I have a neighbor and the two of us decide we're going to share this matzah, we have one person who picks it up, acquires it on behalf of the others, we put it in my neighbor's house, and then we can take gates and walls and make a path between the two homes, and we're totally encircled by walls. But that's not really so easy for a residential neighborhood or an entire metropolitan area. Well, the rabbis pointed out that there is another mechanism to create a wall, an enclosure around an area. And that's what we call a tsuras HaPesach, the shape of a doorway. We know when you have walls, they have openings. Those openings are doorways, and we have doors. Now, what if you have a doorway with no door? Still qualifies as an opening. So if you have the tsura of a Pesach, the shape of an opening, so for example, let's say I get two poles, or if you're in your living room and you're putting together your Eruv, you start with your box of matzahs, and then you get two poles, let's say maybe two brooms. Each of your brooms, they're strong enough to hold a flimsy door that's made out of, let's say, straw. You can make a straw door. You don't have to actually make the door. Imagine a straw door and put it and attach it in your mind to your two poles, to your two brooms. So here you have two brooms, and then you just need a lintel on top. Well, for that, you can take maybe a cord of headphones. And now you have a tzuras HaPesach. You have a beam, halachic beam that goes on top, and your two sides. And you can create multiple tzuras HaPesachs if you are in this Carmelis, if you're not in actual Rishus HaRabim, and that can encircle your area. So you start with your food, you have your matzah, then you get creative in your living room, and you're figuring out what can serve as what's called on the sides, the lechi, the poles, and the korah, the beam on the top. And then the third issue that you need for your Eruv is, well, if you're having multiple people involved, some of the people in your neighborhood are not Jewish. And Chazal, the rabbis in the Gemara in Eruvin, said, well, actually, you can't just enclose people who are not Jewish in your Eruv without not just getting their permission, but renting the ability to include them in your Eruv. Well, today, the way that it works is that you will get permission, let's say a municipality will get permission from the local police department, who in theory, in cases of emergency or a government for eminent domain purposes, could actually enter the private homes and provide permission for all the different residents of this area to use their space, and they then can be included in the Eruv. So all the three things that you need, you now have in your own home. Find some food, primarily a box of matzahs or maybe challahs. You'll put it in one place. Then you're going to want to construct your barriers around your little community, whether it's in your living room or in your dining room, or you want to cordon off one area, so you can construct a mechitza, or you can build your tzuras HaPesach. And the last thing is, if you have other neighbors who you are, quote unquote, including in your Eruv with your children or whoever else, you can go online. You'll see the resources below. You actually can print out from the Glenbrook Eruv, just north of here, the permission that they got from the village of Northbrook to rent the ability to create the Eruv in the entire neighborhood. So click on the link below where you'll find a great game that you could play with kids competing to create an Eruv, how to create the Eruv from one place to the other. You'll get some basic information about the Eruv to review what we learned, and you'll also find the map and the permission from the Glenbrook Eruv. Thank you so much for joining. We look forward to welcome you through this entire journey. Please remember to stay safe, and may HaKadosh Baruch Hu take care of all of us and the entire world during this difficult time. Have a great day.